بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة وإن الرجل ليصدق حتى يكون صديقا وإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور وإن الفجور يهدي إلى النار وإن الرجل لا يكذب حتى يكتب عند الله كذابا أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات. In the chapter of Sidq, truthfulness, the first hadith narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. Last week we discussed briefly about what is Sidq, truthfulness. We mentioned the different types of truthfulness and such as in our speech, in answering our question, in giving an opinion, communication, and also when asked for a mashwara, consultation. Like this in our actions, that a person is truthful in his action, in completing the task, in being honest, for example at work, the number of hours that he has worked, or dealing with your staff, their wages, etc. And the third type is about intentions, that a person is true and honest in his intention, in related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also to the creation as well. So in all aspects of our life, a person should bring this quality of being honest and truthful. Imam Ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, he says that قَلْبُ الصَّادِقِ مَمْلُوءٌ بِنُورِ الْحَقِّ وَعِنْدَهُ نُورُ الْإِيمَانِ, that the heart of a truthful person, the person who's got this quality of being honest and truth, the heart of this person will be filled with the nur, with the light of truth. And he will have the nur and light of Iman. And this nur and this light of Iman will guide the person towards the right path, towards the haqq, and he will be able to protect himself, guard himself, especially in the times of difficulties and trials and tribulations, when there's a dilemma, when there's a conflict between haqq and the truth, between truth and falsehood. Then that aspect, the person has this iman, person has this strength, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide him. Like this, Imam Ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi says in another part, that إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ مِنْ عَبْدِهِ أَن يُزَيِّنَ لِسَانَهُ بِالصِّدْقِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves from His servant, from His makhluk, that they beautify their tongue. They beautify their tongue with truthfulness. They beautify their tongue with their truthfulness. And also, وَقَلْبَهُ بِالْإِخْلَاصِ وَالْمُحَبَّةِ, and also their heart, that they beautify their heart with ikhlas and muhabbat. When a person he has this quality of truthfulness, as we mentioned previously, that internally as well, a person should also be true and externally. Meaning, whatever is in his heart will reflect externally, and whatever is external will also reflect his internal. They both will be same and will be equal. So here Imam Ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi is trying to encourage us that we beautify ourselves internally and also externally. And we also have many ahadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about being honest and being truthful. In one place he says that أَرْبَعٌ إِذَا كُنَّ فِيكَ فَلَا عَلَيْكَ مَا فَاتَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا, that if a person is able to possess these four qualities, if a person is able to earn and achieve and have these four qualities, then he has not missed anything. Nothing has been lost from this dunya. He has not lost anything from this dunya. One of them is وَصِدْقُ حَدِيثٍ حفظ أمانة وصدق حديث وحسن خليقة وعفة في طعمة. That a person, he is truthful in his speech. So this is one of the 4 qualities that if a person is able to have, then he will be able to achieve everything of this dunya. Mufti Ahmad Khan Puri Samad Damat Barakatum, one of his dars, he mentioned that Maulana Badr Alam Rahmatullahi Alayhi, and his son narrates this, that my father, he received a letter. He received a letter. Now, the letter that was written by who had lost his mother, whose mother had passed away. So, reading the letter and reading the news of passing away of his mother, he told his writer, the person who was writing, to write that, I'm very saddened about the news of the passing away of your mother. Now, after he completed the letter, he told the person that, just wait for a short while. Wait for a short while. And he took a short pause. After taking that pause, he gave the permission of sealing the letter up and returning this letter. Then afterwards, he was asked that, what did you do? Why did he pause for a short while? You were writing, after the letter was finished, you took a short pause, and then he continued. So Maulana Badr Alam Rahmatullahi Alayhi, he said and he replied, in the reply, I told the person to write that I am very sorry and saddened about this news. So I told him to write it, but then I had to check my heart that am I actually honest in reading this? Am I actually honest in writing this reply? That was I actually honest and hurt and was saddened about this news or not? So I took a short pause, I looked into my heart, and I realized that yes, I was hurt by hearing this news and saddened about this, and then I gave the permission. So this is what is, that sometime we receive the news of a death of a person, and we just reply that, I'm very sorry to hear this news, and etc. And we have to be honest in that reply. Were we actually hurt by hearing this news? Are we actually honest in sending this reply that yes, I was hurt by hearing this news? So even in our reply, in our speech, in our actions, in our intentions, we have to be honest as much as possible. Now when we are honest, there are many virtues, as we mentioned in the hadith. In one hadith actually, Prophet ﷺ says that if you give me guarantee of 6 things, I'll guarantee Jannat. If I give you guarantee of 6 things, I'll guarantee Jannat. And one of those 6 things is about being truthful and being honest. Now when we are honest in our day-to-day life, then what happens is that even our emotionally, we are at peace. We don't have this burden upon ourselves that, oh no, I have to make a story up, or I may have to make another lie. I might have to think of something. When a person has spoken the truth, then emotionally as well, a person is at peace as well. And then he knows that I've spoken the truth. There will always be khair and goodness in this. Rasulullah ﷺ said that he'll be protected from halakan and destruction. So when a person is honest, he will definitely feel peace at himself emotionally as well. And also on a public level, it's very important that on a public level as well, we are honest and we are truthful. We are honest and we are truthful, which will bring justice, it will bring peace, and also it will bring unity within the community as well. So it's very important in that aspect that on our individual level, on our public level, we are honest and we are truthful as well. And this, obviously, we can reflect on our own selves. That we reflect on our own self, that I am being honest and I am being truthful. What will happen? What will be the consequences of this? If we understand that there will always be positive outcome of this, a person will realize that should always be honest and be truthful in all matters of my life. And also, when we possess this quality, now imagine in the community, 50-70% of the people have this honesty and truthfulness in them, it will create a good culture. It will create a good culture as well. And that good culture that will create will have a positive atmosphere and positive outcome as well in the within the community as well. So it's very important that we understand this. Now, how do we do this? There are many different ways, as we mentioned, that we check ourselves. That am I being honest in my speech? Am I truthful in my speech or not? Does it reflect the reality? Does it reflect the reality? Now, when we are honest and truthful in our actions, in our speech, in our intentions, those around us will also notice this. They will all notice this, and they will pick this habit up as well. For example, with our own children, with our own siblings, they will notice that my father, my brother is telling me to be honest, and their actions are also reflecting on this as well, that they are honest as well. So now this will also have an impact on those who are around us, within our family members as well, that they will start also bringing this quality, being honest as well. Now, when we see that somebody from our children, from our family members is being honest, then we praise them, we notice them, we acknowledge. By praising their honesty and acknowledging their honesty, this will create a good behavior in them. This will create a good habit in them as well. And also at the same time, they will realize that the value of being honest. The value of being honest is very important, and this will create also good habits in them. So this is something that we need to remember and also try to bring in our lives. Now, what does the hadith explain? Hadith explains that honesty will take a person towards piety. It will take a person towards piety. And what does piety do? It will take a person towards Jannat. It take a person towards Jannat. Hasan al-Basri rahmatullahi alayh, he says that every good deed, piety i.e. good deed, every good deed will take a person more closer to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take a person more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will take him further away from sins. It will take him further away from sins as well. That Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he says that good deeds, it has nur and brightness upon the face. Good deeds will bring dhiya'an fil wajhi wa nuran fil qalbi, that it will bring shine to the person's face. Sometimes we see as well that just by looking at that this person, we can tell that there's something good and piety inside their lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings that in the nur as well, in their face as well. وَنُورًا فِي الْقَلْبِ, and also it brings nur and the light in their heart as well. وَسَعَةً فِي الرِّزْقِ, and also it brings expansion and vastness in their provisions. وَقُوَّةً فِي الْبَدَنِ, and physically as well, they will become strong as well. وَمَحَبَّةً فِي قُلُوبِ الْخَلْقِ, and also the hearts of the creation will incline towards this individual. When a person has this quality of honesty and truthfulness, then a person is honest and truthfulness in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an announcement in the heavens and within the malaika that I have muhabba for this individual, you also have muhabba for this individual. Then the malaika make this announcement on the earth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the angels, malaika, have muhabba for this individual, you also have the muhabbat for the individual. I.e., the muhabbat of this individual is put into the hearts of the creation. They naturally incline towards this individual. So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he mentioned these are the few benefits of having this quality of truthfulness. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that it takes a person towards Jannat, towards piety and truthfulness, and that will take a person towards Jannat. This is briefly of the first part of this hadith. The second part of the hadith, inshallah, we'll just make a few mention of it. That وَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ. That lying, this is the opposite of being true. Lying takes a person towards sin, and sin takes a person towards Jahannam, towards fire of Jahannam, towards the fire. Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, Imam Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi, quotes Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi that the contrary to the reality, something which is real, contrary to that is lying. Something which is contrary to the reality is lying. Now, this is either intentionally done or is out of ignorance. Either way, a person, he says something or he does something or he intends something which is contrary, against what the reality is, and this will be lying. So وَإِنَّ الْكَذِبْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ, when a person has the habit of lying, when a person, he says something which is against the reality, he does something which is against the truth and haqq, or he intends something which is against the haqq, this will be kidhb, and this will be lying, and this will take a person towards the sins. It takes a person towards fujur. Fujur meaning towards evil, towards disobedience. And this disobedience will take a person towards Jahannam. Now, there are the categories of kidhb and categories of lying as well. Inshallah, we'll discuss lying against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lying against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or against a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, another human being. We'll briefly mention these few categories of lying as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the understanding of how important it is to bring this quality in our lives. This quality, inshallah, will bring peace. Now we see nowadays as well, opposite of this. The reality is that in many aspects of our life, people are leaving out the truthfulness, and they have, more inclined towards lying and deceiving and fraud and etc. Now, when we bring this quality of honesty and truthfulness, then we will see that the peace and the unity within the people, within our family, within our community, and also on a government level as well, there will be honesty between the public and with the government, and you'll see that the environment is flourishing as well, and there's harmony, peace and harmony within the community. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the understanding of bringing this quality in our lives, and also give us the ability to practice upon what's been heard and what we mentioned. Allahumma ameen, subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallah bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursalin, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.